Tale of a West Texas Marsupial Girl is about a girl who's born in a small West Texas town, and she happens to be born with a kangaroo pouch near her stomach. And the story is actually covers many years of her life, and we see the different ways that this pouch affects her world. When she's young, she sees it as a very magical and special thing. But as she grows older, people begin to fear it and begin to fear the power that they think it holds. And so it's really a story about a little girl growing up different and learning to deal with that different. I think there's an expansiveness to this story. You know, in many ways, this is about a story about an ordinary young girl in an ordinary small town. But really extraordinary and epic things happen as the play moves forward, as the pouch begins to kind of cause her pain because so many people are making fun of her. She begins to steal people's voices and keep them in her pouch. And so as the story progresses and as she gets angrier and angrier, she eventually steals all the sound in the town. So there's this kind of mythic and expansive framework and these magic big things that happen in this everyday small town. You know, a lot of my plays live in a world that's kind of part real and part mythic.
Sure.
So it's not unusual for me to have characters that maybe seem extra human or not quite human.
Okay.
But I think that the character of the girl kind of came into my head. Definitely, I was affected by driving through these vast open spaces and thinking about desert environments, and so I guess I had kangaroo in the brain. My influences almost always come from place. So like this play in many ways came from driving through this particular landscape. And when I look at the vast number of my plays, they're either set in a really specific city, like I have a play set in Minneapolis during the building of the Stone Arch Bridge. Which was kind of a location that I've been obsessed with for a long time.
Okay.
I have another play called Nita and Zita, which is about these two sisters who were burlesque dancers in New Orleans, and they lived in New Orleans for a long time. And the play is very much about the place that they lived in and how they affected that place. So I think that it's actually like sites and locations and the places that people live and how they make them the person that they become to be. Is almost always a starting point for me. You know, a big influence for this particular production is also Skip's music, which I was very familiar with before I started writing, and his music is really incredible. It evokes kind of vast and magic landscapes. He has a very big sound. He takes small instruments and puts them through different special processors and makes them sound huge. The story has expanded a lot because it's a much longer play than when I first wrote it. I think one of the challenges is being able to write a story that moves forward at a fairly quick pace, but also really rings true. I think that children are a really difficult audience, and if there are holes in your story, or if you're writing a character that doesn't seem true to life in a way. But I mean, I don't mean that it has to be like a stereotype, but I feel like children can really see through any kind of false surface. So really trying to get this story to the point that it's really airtight and that I believe everything that every character says has been a big challenge. One of the joys for me has been being able to really play with a sense of whimsy and rhyme in the language. I grew up in a family that's kind of incessant nicknamers and rhymers, and we really kind of have a whole lot of fun just kind of relishing these like weird words that people come up with. And but it's not a language that I feel like I can really speak in the real world, but I feel like when I'm writing for kids, I know that they're going to be able to really enjoy and get into whether it's using fantastic words or made up words or words that rhyme. So that's been really, really fun for me to kind of explore.